Grandma's garden is dying, and the mad look on her face stays there all the time. At night, Grandma sits in her rocking chair on the porch where she can see the men who lean into passing cars. Everyone knows they're selling drugs, but the police don't stop them.
I tell Grandma it's dangerous to be out there at night, but she won't listen. When Grandma sits out there, she talks at the top of her voice to nobody in particular about pride, about the way folks used to care about more than loud thumping music and gold chains. She's only so bold when she's drinking the sherry Miss Verrill brings.
In high school, I still don't have a best friend, even though I know how to answer the questions differently now. I'm black. I'm from Northeast Portland. My grandfather's eyes are this color. I've lived here mostly my whole life. I'm black. I'm black, I know.
I spend a lot of time reading in the library that's next to the high school. There's a new black literature section. It's 4 whole shelves. I found one book of poetry about a girl who has a white father and a black mother. I've never read anything like that before. And I'm reading a book that Drew gave me, Black Skin, White Masks. But I'm not sure I agree with what it says. There's this chapter called The Man of Color and the White Woman. Just that title makes me mad. I can't explain why. The book uses the word Negro like they did in the old days. Jesse Jackson wants us to be African American now. I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know any black people who have ever been to Africa. It's like calling me Danish American, even though I've never been to Denmark, but at least I speak Danish. I don't know a single black person who speaks Swahili or any of those other African things they speak. Then there's page 173. Wherever he goes, the Negro remains a Negro. That makes me think about how the other black girls in school think I want to be white. They call me Oreo. I don't want to be white. Sometimes I want to go back to being what I was. I want to be nothing.
Grandma keeps saying, what I need to study is typing. That way, I can work in a nice office one day.
A pretty girl's gonna go somewhere. Now that's a fact. Long as she keeps that pretty to herself and then her husband.
Miss Verrill agrees with Grandma. She says a pretty girl can take aim at whatever she wants and have it, even something like a good office job. Grandma and Miss Verrill think secretary when they say this. They think of it as something good. Grandma thinks she's dreaming big when she says I can have a 3-bedroom house on Albina or Killingsworth, or maybe near Irving Park, she calls it Irvington, and a husband and a Toyota that has the new car smell. She wants me to be able to buy whatever I want at Fred Meyer's without paying attention to what vegetables on sale and without worrying about bringing double coupons. She thinks a shopping spree at Myron and Frank for a Sunday hat and a new church dress every few months is living in style. Grandma sees these things when she talks about them and gestures with her hands like she's painting brush strokes in the air. The way Grandma paints her dream for me, there's a low sky.
Grandma's dream comes from hearing about up north when she was growing up in Texas on a farm on a road that had no name. Grandma's dream is bigger than her life. I guess at Moore's dreams, having a husband, a family, love, that's the way I would list them. But then I think about it again. Her dream maybe was feeling the way she felt with Doug. The way she would smile easy, she would laugh easy, she would play, at least at first. Then the sky in her dream got low too. Sometimes I think Grandma and Moore are 2 sides of the same coin. They're 2 sides of a coin that I can hold in my hand at the same time.
Bravo! Wow, thank you guys so much. That was amazing what you did. I heard the words differently in the way you read them. That was so lovely. That piece of it is actually pretty far into the book, but it doesn't spoil the story of it for you, so I thought it would be a good choice. So Rachel's journey is a difficult one because it's that journey of growing up, simply. And she's been labeled young. Well, at 11 years old, suddenly she's in a new place, and suddenly the label she's received is Black. But she doesn't know what that means, and she struggles to figure it out. And at this point in the book, Rachel is very much resigned to just being the thing that people say that she is, because it's easier. But she has this rich inner life in her. For me, a lot of that, what you read today, just brought back a flood of memories, because obviously the book is set in Portland, and Portland is where I grew up. And when you mentioned the library, I could imagine myself back in that library on Killingsworth Street across from Cascade campus, and for the first time discovering the African American literature section. There was a piece in there, you reference a book about a girl who has a white father and a Black mother, and that is really an actual book. It's called All of Us. It's by John Steptoe, and it's a series of poems, and it was something that really spoke to me, because I didn't know that anyone had talked about being mixed before. I'd never seen anything like that, and it was quite powerful. But beyond that, I thought it was so interesting to be able to write about the way in which books change us. I know I was changed by books. When I moved here in 1980 with my family, my parents split up, and we ended up in what is now the Alberta Arts District, but used to just be called Dangerous. And it was just a very scary place to be, generally. And I would, instead of going home, I would wait at the library until my mom was done with her classes or done with work, and I would sit and read, and it became a sanctuary for me. And I wonder if that is still happening for you as students who are out there, that you find yourself in a story and it becomes a sanctuary for you. The character of Grandma is also dear to me. I actually have an African American grandmother who's from Texas. She just turned 94 last Saturday, so yay, happy belated Grandma. I did send her a gift. But the character Grandma is important, especially in that passage, because it's suddenly dawning on Rachel that Grandma does have dreams, but they're just different. And her dreams have been shaped and unfortunately limited by her experience growing up in the segregated South. One of the functions of the Grandma character for me very much was the fact that I wanted to critique an idea of Black authenticity. I grew up thinking that people who were from the South, Black people from the South, were more authentically Black. So I would often tell people, well, I have an African American grandmother from Texas, so yeah, I really am Black now, okay? Leave me alone. And especially in that passage, that Grandma she didn't do what she really set out to do. I think, I'm quoting myself now, that's silly, but I think you guys maybe know the lines better. But Rachel says something like, Grandma's dreams are bigger than her life, unfortunately. I think that's always the saddest thing. But then, this is the first time in the book where Rachel actually realizes that there is some continuity between her mother, Nella, and Grandma. You know, she's always gone throughout the book thinking that Grandma is something very different. At first, she thinks Grandma is a bad mother, even. But this is the first moment where she recognizes the fact that there is something about Nella and Grandma that is very much the same, that they're two sides of a coin that she can hold in her hand. And of course I love that image, but suddenly it also becomes a coin that she can hold, put in her pocket. She could maybe even wish upon it. So I'm so glad you guys read that piece of it. Do we have more? Yes? Okay.